If you're struggling to figure out what and how much you should be eating in order to reverse insulin resistance and prediabetes, then this video is for you. The food choices we make when we have insulin resistance are very important because when we are insulin resistant, this means that our metabolism isn't functioning properly. There are certain foods that are harder for the body to process. This means that our diet choices can actually make insulin resistance worse, making our blood sugar more unstable and cause weight gain. But on the flip side, if we make the right food choices, this can actually lower our insulin levels, stabilize our blood sugar, and help us to lose weight. And it's not as complicated as you might think. You don't even have to count calories or macros, as long as you follow the framework that we're going to outline in today's video. And make sure to stick around until the end of this video because I am going to be showing you how to put this into practice with easy meals you can make that are going to help you to reverse insulin resistance and prediabetes. Step 1 is to prioritize protein. This should be the center, this should be the focus of every single meal you eat. If you are eating enough protein to meet your body's needs, then it is very hard to overconsume energy. Out of the 3 macronutrients, protein, carbohydrates, and fat, protein is the most important. Protein builds our cells, and there's a certain amount that we need to get every single day. By prioritizing protein at all of your meals, you also take advantage of something known as the protein leverage hypothesis. This states that we eat until our protein needs are met, regardless of the energy content. So if we are eating foods that are just rich in carbohydrates, foods that are just rich in fats, or foods that are rich in the two but don't have a lot of protein, it is very easy to eat too much and to not feel full. Think of something like French fries, for example. How many times have you finished a meal, you're absolutely stuffed, but the fries are still sitting in front of you and you're still just picking away at them? This is because you didn't eat enough protein and you're not getting any more from the fries. 30 grams of protein at every meal is a good starting point to aim for, but ideally you want to be consuming between 40 to 50 grams. This will ensure you're not hungry in between meals and you don't have the urge to snack, because snacking actually makes insulin resistance worse. Now, when I say 30 grams of protein, I know that a lot of people have a hard time visualizing that, so I'm going to give you some examples. And this might be surprising to you because most people are not getting anywhere near 30 grams of protein at every meal. Foods that contain 30 grams of protein would be half a cup of ground beef, 1 chicken breast or 2 chicken drumsticks, a 4-ounce steak, 1 salmon fillet, 1 cup of Greek yogurt, 1 cup of cottage cheese, 1 scoop of protein powder, 5 whole eggs, or 1 cup of egg white. Now, if you don't want to have 5 eggs at one meal, I get that. All you have to do is pair 2 eggs, 1 egg with another protein source. So if you're having it at breakfast, for example, you can have it with some smoked salmon, you can have it with a beef sausage that doesn't have any added filler, or some bacon even that doesn't have added sugar. And when I give you these examples, it's not so you have to weigh and track and figure out exactly how much 30 grams of protein is. I'm trying to give you an idea just so you can figure it out without having to do the tracking. And it might take a little bit of trial and error to find the sweet spot for you. If you are hungry after you eat a meal, that is a good indicator that you didn't eat enough protein, so just up it next time. There is so much more to lose from under-consuming protein compared to worrying about eating too much. And like I said, protein is very hard to overconsume. Now, before we move on, I quickly want to make a note about plant protein and why I don't recommend it if you have the option to have animal protein instead. The first reason is that plant protein is not as bioavailable as animal protein is. You have to consume more of it for your body to be able to absorb an adequate amount. The second reason is that plant protein comes with a lot of extra carbohydrates and a lot of extra calories. We'll talk about carbs later in this video, but to put this into perspective, you would have to eat 2 cups of lentils, which is over 400 calories, in order to get 30 grams of protein, which again is the bare minimum we want to be aiming for. And when you consider that the bioavailability is lower, you probably need to be consuming closer to 2.5 to 3 cups in order to actually absorb 30 grams of protein. And the same applies to other beans and legumes. The only plant protein exception would be tofu. It is low in carbs, but you don't want to be eating a lot of tofu because that comes with a lot of issues. Now, this isn't to say that you shouldn't eat these foods, but they shouldn't be relied on as your main protein source. Now, if you want me to make a full video on why I don't recommend plant protein for insulin resistance or just for overall health, and especially for women, let me know in the comment section down below and I can make that soon. Step number 2 is to choose your cooking oil. So you're going to want to choose a fat or an oil to cook with. Good options include ghee, butter, tallow, lard, duck fat, and coconut oil. Olive and avocado oil are also good for lower temperature cooking. And you want to be using about 1 tablespoon, maybe a bit more if you need it. Avoid vegetable oils at all costs. So I'm talking canola, soybean, safflower, sunflower, grapeseed oil. All of these you want to avoid. These come with a whole bunch of problems, including making insulin resistance worse, including promoting inflammation. Again, I'm not going to get into it too much today. I do have other videos on vegetable oils and why they're a problem, so I will link one up above and you can check that out afterwards. Step number 3 is to add fruits and vegetables. Now, ideally, if you can, you want to select fruits and vegetables that are lower in carbs and lower in sugar, because carbohydrates are the macronutrient that requires the most insulin to process. And when we're working to reverse insulin resistance, we're trying to keep our insulin levels low. When insulin is low, this is when our cells start to become more sensitive to it once again. Examples of low-carb fruits include avocados, olives, berries, and coconut. Low-carb vegetables are basically anything that isn't starchy. So broccoli, asparagus, mushrooms, not technically a vegetable, but I'm going to include them here, cucumber, lettuce, cauliflower, etc. Now, if you do want to include some starchy vegetables, some fruit that's a little bit higher in sugar, it's not going to be the end of the world. As long as you are sticking to mainly whole foods with this approach, then your diet is going to be low in carbohydrates by default. Of course, if you're eating very large amounts of potatoes or of bananas or something like that, then this is going to be a bit counterproductive. Insulin sensitivity is going to improve faster if you can keep your carbs on the lower side. But if you do want to include some whole food carbs, that's totally okay. Just try to be smart about them when you do. Don't eat them in isolation. For example, if you eat just a banana, pair it with some nut butter or another source of protein and fat. This is going to help to slow down digestion. There's going to be less of a blood sugar spike, and that means you're going to need less insulin all at once. So this is going to be beneficial. Or for example, if you do want to have a banana, target it around a workout or a walk, because that way your body is going to be able to use the energy from that banana, use the carbohydrates immediately for energy. And a bonus is when we're exercising, our bodies can actually take in sugar from our bloodstream without insulin, so even better. Also, if you take apple cider vinegar before you eat a meal that's high in carbohydrates, this helps to temporarily improve insulin sensitivity so your cells can take in more glucose. This lowers blood sugar spikes. Berberine has a similar effect. This is a nutrient that you can buy in supplement form, and if you take it before a meal, same thing happens. But all of that is to say, depending on the dish you're making, you probably want to add maybe 1 to 3 or 4 serves of fruit or vegetable to it, just depending on your taste, your preference, how much you want to eat. Again, protein should be the center of your meal. And step number 4 is to add additional fat. Because you're going to be reducing carbohydrates either intentionally or by default, because hopefully you're focusing your meals around all whole foods, you're going to need to provide energy for your body from another source, aka fat. So this could mean adding some extra olive oil to a salad for dressing, or add some butter to a steak. Avocados and olives are another way to add some fat to your meal through a whole food source. And again, the amount of fat you add can be done through trial and error. If you're hungry after your meal and you're sure you're hitting your protein target, then increase your fat just a bit. This isn't going to be counterproductive. This is only going to help to improve your insulin sensitivity and help you to stick to this plan and get lasting results. That's the framework. What does it look like in practice? How do you put this all together? Quickly, before we get into that and I give you some examples, I'm going to give a quick shout out to today's sponsor, ButcherCrowd, and let you know how they can help you to reach your goals. ButcherCrowd is a meat delivery service that focuses on bringing the best quality meat and seafood straight to your door. They deliver 100% grass-fed and finished beef and lamb, pasture-raised chicken and pork, and wild-caught seafood all across Australia. As we discussed earlier in this video, protein from animal sources is going to be ideal. Eating enough quality protein is so important for balancing blood sugar, improving insulin sensitivity, and overall health in general. I've been using ButcherCrowd for almost 5 years, and I can't recommend them enough. They have several boxes to choose from, and you also have the option to customize your own. And with the freedom to change, pause, or cancel your subscription at any time, there really is no reason not to give them a try. To check them out, you can head to healthcoachkait.com/butchercrowd. I'll put that link in the description box down below as well. And make sure to use code KATE15 at checkout in order to save 15% off your first box. Okay, so here are a few examples of what meals using this framework can look like. The first is a 3-egg omelet cooked in butter with a slice of smoked salmon and shredded cheddar cheese. You can also add mushrooms or other veggies to the omelet and a side of berries or avocado. The next would be a 4-ounce steak cooked in olive oil or butter with a side of asparagus or other vegetable and Parmesan cheese. And the third example would be a salad with 2 boiled eggs and half a tin of mackerel or other fatty fish. Top this with olive oil and lemon juice. Additionally, you can add other veggies and avocado or olives as well. Let me know in the comment section down below how you're going to use this framework to put together a meal. It would be so good if we could just fill the comment section with recipe ideas, do a little bit of a recipe swap, or if you have a favorite dish and you want some help making it a little bit more blood sugar, insulin resistance, pre-diabetes friendly, let me know down below and I'll see if I can help you out. Thanks guys again for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.